Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's vlog, we are heading first to Italy, where I spent 6 hours in Milan for a layover, before heading over to Prague. This flight was extremely nice as I had an entire road to myself. Strangely enough, everyone on the flight had a road to themselves. So if you're ever flying from New York to Milan, take Neos Air. Extremely cheap and extremely good service. Upon landing, we were greeted with views of the Italian Alps. I arrived early morning and immediately took a train into the city, which cost me around $34 and took around 40 minutes. The first place I stopped at was about a 10-minute walk from the main train station. This place is called Ginocolo Vinciano, or the Last Supper in English. It is a place where Leonardo da Vinci painted his masterpiece, The Last Supper. Due to time constraints, I wouldn't go inside to see it. Next, I took another 10-minute walk to end up at Castello Sforzesco. This place is a huge medieval Renaissance fortress with historical museums from the likes of Da Vinci and Michelangelo. As you'll be able to tell from the next few clips, I really liked it here. I would highly recommend if you are in Milan to check this place out. Plus admission here is free. Next, I made it to one of the most iconic cathedrals in the world, Duomo di Milano. This cathedral took over 600 years to build and is stunning. Right next to this cathedral is the Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II, which is Italy's oldest active shopping gallery and a huge landmark in Milan. I'm sure many of you watching have seen images like these everywhere. Quick little side note as we head to Prague. Going to Milan, I expected people's fashion to be high class, considering Milan is the fashion capital of the world, but was shocked at how almost nobody was dressed like a fashion model. After landing in Prague, I was so goddamn tired, you have no idea. At that point, I was probably running on 30 hours and no sleep. After an hour, I checked in at my hostel and met a guy from Northern California who invited me to come with him to the beer museum in Prague. So I thought, fuck it, why not? The museum was quite quaint and had a cost of only 10 euros, which at that time would have been around $10. It included beer tasting. We were given 4 different types of beers that all tasted pretty good. Unfortunately for me, due to my tiredness, I got drunk so quickly, and not long later I ended up dropping one of the glasses. Embarrassed, me and my new friend left the museum as quickly as possible. To sober up quickly, me and Mason went to a local restaurant and got Eastern Europe's most famous dish, goulash, which was served with knedliki, which is a traditional Czech bread dumpling that is meant to be eaten with a meaty sauce. We were treated to very good views over the city while we ate. We then briefly saw Petrin Tower and walked for a little while through Petrin Park. We then headed back to the hostel, where I finally was able to rest. The next day came and I made my way out to Narodny Museum, which is essentially the Grand Museum of Czech Republic, encasing a range of natural science and historical items, all from within the Czech Republic. This museum also had grand architecture all throughout. Would highly recommend coming here at least once. The price for admission is around $10. Please don't get ripped off by purchasing it for $50 on TripAdvisor or Viator's website. I then made my way over to Vyšehrad, which is a mega complex in the lower end of the city that was once a fortified castle with a museum. The next minute or two is purely clips from Vyšehrad, just so you can get an understanding of how complex this place is. Afterward, I returned back to Petrin Tower to see the views at the top, and they didn't disappoint. The cost to get to the top was around $6.50. To start the next day off right, I ate at this Thai place called Lemon Leaf. There I ordered yellow curry for breakfast, which was extremely delicious. Total price including a drink came to $17.50 USD. Right after eating, I went down to the street to Cyril and Methodius Cathedral. This cathedral is famous more so because of recent history, where the first people in the Czech Republic were killed by the Nazis in World War II, as seen in the picture. A few hours later, I made my way to Prague Castle, arguably the most famous landmark in the entire city that you must visit when in Prague. Within the castle is St. Vitus Cathedral, a very grand cathedral. Although the price is around $13, I don't remember even paying to get in. May have entered illegally, I guess. The rest of what you'll see is just views throughout the castle that I felt looked very nice. At night, I made it back to my hostel where I met 3 cool dudes. We all decided that since Prague is this major club city, why not go to the club for my last night before heading off to Vienna in the morning? If you couldn't tell by my photos, we were all drunk. Interestingly enough, this club itself was giving out free shots in exchange for writing the best review. So if you ever are looking for clubs to go to, and you see a bunch of bot-sounding reviews, you know you made it to Duplex. If you couldn't tell, I've skipped a day here. The 21st was just a commute day, where interestingly enough, on the bus I met a girl from Brazil, and we ended up hanging out together while in Vienna. This here is the view from my Airbnb, which was pretty nice, and a view of the passing U-Bahn. Arguably the most famous landmark in Vienna, I arrived at Schönbrunn Palace, the summer home of the Austrian royal family. No filming is allowed inside the palace, and there is palace security that walk around in what seemed like almost every room, except for this one. Fortunately, this room isn't too special as it was just a common room, but you can get an idea of what it was like inside. Here we have the Schönbrunn Palace Park that is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site for its endless gardens and walkways that exemplify beauty. After being at the palace, I went to Rathausplatz to meet up with my Brazilian friend and her new friend. During this point in July, there's an international food festival going on, so many people were coming here from all over the city. What you see on the screen is the start to a free concert from the musical composer of Star Wars, John Williams. Now I'll play the video with sound on. Later that night, I made it back home to my Airbnb. The next day, my friend Uzair made it to Vienna and we hung out at Kopa Beach, which is right next to where I was staying. Then we made our way to Schönbrunn Castle for a photo session since he has a professional camera. Although I still haven't seen the photos from that day, so if you're listening to this, Uzair, send me the photos, please. Later that night, I visited Sissi Museum and headed back home. This day, I got up early and took the bus to Bratislava, which is only 1 hour away, costs $10 and runs hourly. The first place I stopped at was the House of the Good Shepherd. From there, I went to eat Chinese food at this restaurant called Jasmine. I then went to Bratislava Castle. After that, I went to the main square in Bratislava. I next went to see the Blue Church, which is very beautiful, and I would recommend visiting if you are ever in the area. Plus, entry is free. Side note, before I left Bratislava, I went to get food from Burger King. Don't judge me either, because it was a Sunday, so all the local restaurants were closed. Anyways, while I was in the Burger King, I noticed a few menu items that were unique. like the Texas barbecue chicken pocket and the grilled pocket wrap. Would definitely be nice to have some of these in America. After this, I headed back on the bus to Vienna. Here is a brief tour of the Airbnb I stayed at since it was my last day. I then headed onto a train straight to the airport. Stick around for part 3 where I visit Kyrgyzstan and Kazakhstan.